No, I'm just tired. Didn't get a lot of sleep. All right. I think we're all set. So good morning, everybody. Welcome to another Engineering the Markets. My name is Jared, and it is March 29th, 2022. Happy Tuesday to everyone, and welcome to another uptrend in the S&Ps. We did see another swing high formed on yesterday's session. A couple of quick notes about yesterday, just to kind of get us a sense of where is the market focused overall. And for this one, I'm going to go ahead and bring up the new trading terminal from Bearable Traders. So starting with some sector performance on yesterday, we had a lot of relative strength in consumer discretionaries. We had things like Tesla, obviously with a strong gap and go in the morning. Amazon had some pretty decent performance intraday. And then across the board, other consumer discretionaries, Nike, McDonald's, potentially like Starbucks and Target, just kind of holding relative gains and also continuing their corrective move to the upside. As you walk through this performance, you'll notice that some of our other sectors, healthcare and technology especially, were also relatively strong. They weren't weak on the session, and therefore the S&P saw pretty significant upside based solely on those sectors being green on the day. Some weakness in financials, and we'll take a look at that shortly because the volatility in financials is quite interesting to interpret each and every session. But more importantly, this inverse correlation that we continue to see where we have energy and metals acting as almost an inverse correlated asset class for the S&Ps. Anytime energy is weak, we often see the S&Ps outperform, and that's mostly because on those particular sessions, stronger sectors, ones with more market cap, are the leaders on the intraday. And that, of course, is paired with a 1 week performance. Remember, this is starting at the beginning of the week. So pointing out here that utilities are actually experiencing an all-time high breakout. We're actually seeing some potential channel breakout as well. So we'll look at that in just a moment. But as you walk this down, you can see that for the most part, past session or so has been quite strong. We're seeing some lead into different sectors. And for the most part, the only red sector being financials, once again, with that volatility aspect coming into play. So as we look, as well as the indices, S&P up about 7.7%. NASDAQ actually leading, almost up double the S&P, and that's indicative of the type of sector performance that we saw yesterday. For one, consumer discretionaries makes up a bigger chunk of the NASDAQ than it does the S&P, especially the stocks that actually comprise the rally on yesterday's session. And technology strength, while it is a boon for both indices, actually benefits the NASDAQ much more. And there was a bit more of a widespread technology rally yesterday as opposed to key underlying stocks like your Apples, Microsofts, and the like. Notably, Russell 2000 or IWM underperformed on the session. You'll note that there was some crypto miner strength, and just kind of looking back, that is going to be part of like the Russell 2000 group. But overall, biotech was a laggard on yesterday's session, but weaker intraday. And the Russell, while holding some relative performance, didn't really see any sort of appreciable gains. You can also kind of note here that Bitcoin continues its breakout. We're looking at about 48 per coin at this point. And while we are starting to get into some of those psychological mid-range prices for Bitcoin, the breakout so far has been from a fairly wide weekly range. So that breakout potential has quite a bit of power behind it. So shifting back to the charts and just looking at the S&P, this rally has been impressive. We've certainly seen a lot of people maybe shocked by the speed of the recovery, the overall just ranges that we're experiencing intraday, especially when you're coming off the lows. I think that's when the ranges are the widest. That's indicative of the volatility itself and the expected move week over week. But as you start to get to potentially a relative top, the ranges start to compress. We're not seeing necessarily 10-point days in the S&P anymore. We're maybe looking at about 5, anywhere from 3 to 5-point days most sessions. And that's simply from low to high, whether it's a trending day or not. That's indicative of the potential of movement each and every session. So as people are kind of looking for, scouting for some bearish entry in the market, maybe looking to sell upper resistance zones, worth mentioning that we are getting to the January highs. The early February highs, roughly the 460 print in the S&Ps, and right around this double top that formed on the daily chart. Much more clear on the weekly as well, bit of a tweezer formation. And as the S&Ps come to test this, we're coming off of the lows. So I do expect from a technical sense some amount of stall in this range. But once again, you have to look at the size of the retracement here and simply say that the market V-bottomed. We came off the lows and we went straight up, especially on the weekly chart. So looking at this resistance, it's one of question as to how long is it going to hold? What sort of reaction are we even going to get around it? And ideally, if we're not seeing any sort of interaction intraday around this price, what it may take is a bit of an exhaustive sort of gap up open in order for the market to roll and potentially sell to any sizable degree. It's worth mentioning that because we do have a gap up open today. We're slamming right into these resistance zones. And while the market is uptrending shorter term, looking for that rollover event, maybe the exhaustive top of a bullish run. And that's just going to set something like our daily high. Additionally, sort of that weekly test of resistance. So keeping an eye on that as we move into the session, NASDAQ as well, pushing right into the 200. We should expect some challenge here. Market has had sort of a great rally off the lows, but there's a couple reasons why you might be thinking this is starting to run out of steam. For one, volatility. Volatility has been crushed. We've come off of that 30 print. This is basically when the VIX changed its daily trend, going from a daily uptrend, putting that uptrend at risk by breaking the swing low. And then, of course, putting up a back test and changing the trend. This is your head and shoulder theory, where you go from higher high, higher low, making a higher high, breaking your higher low pattern, and then, of course, a lower high into a downtrend. Just very classic trend changing formation here. More or less, though, the speed of the downside move, the VIX crush. This is, of course, just 30-day volatility in the SPX, but as we know, volatility futures have also been kind of crushed back down into lower price ranges, relative support, if you want to look at it that way. And all we're doing here is kind of saying, okay, the market probably will not start stalling until we get a bottom in the VIX futures, or until we start seeing these pause from their selling. This is almost an inverse chart. If you could throw up something like the S&P, let's go ahead and add something as simple as the SPX. And let's take off these studies. Just kind of bring this into, oh, should have done it the opposite way. Took off everything. SPX. So it's basically that inverse correlation. You know, the volatility topped whenever the S&P bottomed. S&P has had a really significant rally. It's almost vertical. we've gone straight up. Volatility futures have gone straight down. Very inverse correlation in the short term. And mostly we're looking at this and saying, okay, well, if we're looking for a top, we kind of need the volatility futures to bottom. And that way they can establish sort of a risk range for us to potentially trade bearish in the S&P, or even consider going long volatility in some sort of option scenario. Okay, so that's our current condition. We just got some actual volatility in crude, so it's worth mentioning. We actually watched this happen right before the show, so I wanted to call it out. Volatility in energy is likely to continue. Basically, that's been true for the past couple of weeks. Any news, any updates on supply-demand constraints, anything from the current U.S. president discussing some potential changes to that supply-demand model, all of this is going to shake up the market. It's going to lead to some big buy and sell swings. But what we looked at on the short term here is crude came back into a swing low. And like I say, technicals tell a picture that the news often will obfuscate. The news is a bit of a laggard in most cases. The technicals will offer you the right risk to reward, and the technicals often offer where market participants have their risk as opposed to what the risk is in the news and whether or not it's already known by the market. So what we looked at here was an oversold condition just now. Crude market fell. We came into this swing low. If you notice on the hourly, the swing low here forming a new uptrend. This, of course, actually changed the trend because we were in a downtrend before. So it's a very powerful level, not only because it formed a swing high, but it came from a bottom. You know, the market rallied, we pulled back, and then we rallied again. So this particular level is defendable, and it's what we call untested support, but it has all of the implication of support. It has the right characteristics of why the market would want to defend that level. And what this did was, amidst the sell-off, bit of a waterfall sell-off, it actually provided the risk level needed to step in long. And what we saw was a multi-point bounce in crude off of this level. Now, obviously, this was right before the show. It was a bit of a trade overall, and we're already testing it once again. But it shows how technicals can be applied to current conditions, whether it be just the volatility of news, the shakeup of some new information entering the market, and then basically saying, okay, if I have this information on my chart already, can I step in with a trade, take advantage of this short term, and then assess the market's actual decision once trends start to form? Because usually in a waterfall sell-off, it's not really a trend yet. It's just a reaction. It's almost an overreaction in most cases. So that was a trade. It's worth mentioning crude here because energy markets still remain in focus. We want to keep an eye on the XLE and the XOP as a group of products. XOP with a fresh swing high. Natural gas plays is obviously a part of the driver there. But shakeups in energy are going to kind of shake up the market as well. We see continued weakness here. We can also see that sector rotation getting back into healthcare, which is once again at resistance, but forming a pullback in order to make a new swing high. This is actually challenging resistance at this point. And if we see this start to break out once again, we are aligned for an uptrend. The 20 is curled back above the 200, and the 50 is starting to catch up. So once again, keep an eye out on healthcare. It might be a little bit of a sleeper for the next cycle and for another breakout in sector performance. We obviously talked about technology. breaking above the 200, just some relative strength overall. It's not necessarily the apples of the world, although they were a full buy up on yesterday's session. We're talking about a gap down open that literally came off of the low and never looked back. And then, of course, Microsoft as well, aiding in that relative strength. So lots of just basically stock performance. Key stocks, strong relative performers, strong sectors, lots of just areas of the market that continue to negate a bearish thesis. You know, the market's unlikely to fall unless we see these stocks pull back. And when I'm saying pull back, I'm even saying just a retracement, not even sort of a new sell swing into some of the fear lows that we had. So this is kind of the market we're in. Definitely scouting bearish today, given the resistance that we're at and some of the overextension of the market. But if bears cannot prove it, if the technicals are not there, it's one of those things where every day you're looking for something and you're basically asking, are they proving it to me? Are they showing me the right information on the chart? Is there the right signal? Is there the right risk? And if not, you wait until the next day, and maybe it happens the next day. But otherwise, you kind of continue on your main thesis, which is we're still in an uptrend. Excuse me. Wanted to call out the metals market. We're actually starting to challenge our daily higher lows. This is after some of the parabolic action we saw. Size of the retracement's important. You know, I kind of have to measure these moves from the lower bounds, and the pullback so far was the 61.8. So once again, you know, as a fib analyst in some way, seeing this bounce occur here is indicative of the right area for the market to react, even after a parabolic move. But we're also seeing a second test here, or sort of a retest of this area. It's odd to see the consolidation occur so quickly after such a great breakout, and you know, a lot of gold sort of enthusiasm, a lot of metal enthusiasm. To see it already go into a more consolidative range is a bit concerning. Same idea with silver. If I measure those retracements here, you know, these pullbacks are to 50, 61.8. That's not indicative of continuation just yet. That's actually indicative of a tightening range, typically multiple weeks of back and forth trade. And the idea is pretty simple. The bulls have given up a lot of the performance. So there's going to be some reclaiming of price, and that's going to take time in order to form. So I'm a little concerned with the setups here in the metals market. Bounces are obviously working pretty well, but they're not set up appropriately for continuation, at least from their retracement size and just the overall move back to test these lows. In fact, silver has made a fresh low, so that actually is more concerning because it is a trend change. You know, the market is actually showing us a trend change at this moment. So yeah, not sure what to take of that, just mostly calling out the difference in what was a bull now becoming questionable. Market changes focus very quickly. What was once maybe fear and buying into, you know, hedge and protection, inflation protection, the market's starting to disagree with that slightly. And that's indicative of maybe the weekly trends already coming back into consolidative phases. And then last but not least, you know, part of that might also be based on the dollar. Dollar at this point is still technically in an uptrend. We have not really seen strong topping action in a long time in the dollar, but this is an area to focus in. For one, psychological prices, we're near that 100 print in the DXY. For 2, the most recent up moves in the dollar have been somewhat bound by swing lows. So we're talking maybe ranges forming near these levels, and the most recent highs have been sort of trapped. So I'm definitely looking to see if we're getting trend changes in this area, or are we just kind of comfortable at these price levels. What it also tells me, though, is that if you're a dollar bull and you're short-term trading, you may want to be profit taking near this swing high, because the give back right now is all the way back to the swing lows. The way to do this, of course, with some of the ETF products that are available, and obviously looking out for a trend change. So give me 1 second. My throat's a little dry. Okay, so last but not least, it's worth mentioning some of the bond yields. We are going to go into further discussion this week. There are multiple ways to look at this, and we'll talk about bonds as a fundamental market. We'll kind of describe what is a bond, how do yields work, just get that foundational layer for everyone to be on the same page. I wanted to offer a couple of different products that I went ahead and composed this morning. Most of these are going to be from the iShare offering. So, for example, BlackRock offers products like the TLT. These are very liquid ETFs to gain bond exposure, whether you're short, long, neutral, option trader, it really doesn't matter. These products are very liquid. They're highly traded, and they're what we use to kind of get a sense of sentiment in the bond market. Obviously, the TLT is in a downtrend. There is this sort of general retracement line that we breached once, failed, came back in, kind of bottoming out at the moment, but still very much in a downtrend overall. And with these products, we've obviously seen short-term yields rise. Long-term yields have kind of been on the rise and have almost flattened and inverted as of last year. So 20-plus year treasury bonds, 30-plus, even 10 is starting to become a concern. These are all things that we look at just, relative. Are they breaking out? Are they flat? Are they in a range, et cetera, et cetera? The thing that I want to call out here is that this market and the sensitivity to these moves is a big driver for the equity market. We've talked about tech correlation before. We've talked about how a rising interest rate environment tends to be relatively negative for tech. A flattening interest rate environment where you have short and long-term yields, either flat or inverted, can be negative for financials. Some of that may be starting to shape up in the near term. And then, of course, the dreaded yield curve, where if you get something like the 2 and the 10 yield inverting, that's usually anywhere from a 12 to 18-month lead indicator for an economic recession. There's some stipulation with that. That's not an if-then condition. There's actually a couple of other pieces to that statement. But those are all bits of information that are coming through the news. They're coming into market sentiment. Obviously, market participants are focused on these activities. And what's important for us to understand is that depending on our time frame, this is either information that has zero effect. A day trader ideally really doesn't care too much about this, albeit if they see bonds selling off very heavily, they might also be looking to short tech. So that, might just be a one-day trade, and it might work or it might not. Bigger picture, maybe a swing trader, maybe a cycle investor is starting to say, okay, Am I bullish bonds at these levels? Am I starting to prepare for a bigger upswing in the future? Bonds are still in a downtrend, of course, but maybe that's starting to bottom out or find a base. And then, of course, what's that going to do to the yields? What sectors are going to perform moving forward? And how can I position to take advantage of all that? We try and cover most of that in sort of a general sense. Obviously, we have some other material on YouTube that goes into some of those conversations. But ideally, what we're looking at is a market that has a lot of characteristics similar to the equities market and just as tradable, just as opportunistic. So when we get into this conversation, starting tomorrow, we're going to look at what these products are, why they matter, how they work, what it means to have certain events occur. And then, of course, as we move forward, start putting together trade ideas around them. It's worth having the information, but if you're not making money off of it, it's just information. So looking forward to that conversation. It's going to be a little bit more in depth. There's going to be a little bit of maybe additional discussion moving forward, but it's one thing we can look at as the market continues its climb. There really isn't much more to say about the equities market except for we're coming into resistance, we're in a daily uptrend, certain sectors are outperforming, and you have stocks that are leading the way. If any of that changes, we'll call it out. But otherwise, that's the condition, that's the trend. It's been true for about 2 weeks. So it's a good time to talk bonds, to get the lay of the land in a sense, and also to explore how to take advantage of it. Because obviously this is going to be a market with just as much range and volatility moving forward. And even if this market starts to flatline or even just go a bit neutral, we can start to position around that and have that be another part of the portfolio for people interested. So all in all, here's a Treasury bond ETF list that I have brought up. You've got things as close in yield as the 1 to 3 year. So SHY is going to be sort of your short end, your Treasury notes a little bit more. You have the TLT, which is 20 plus. That's kind of the far end, more your bonds. You have stuff in between, 7 to 10. The IEF is another very popular product. Once again, very liquid option market. So not just the ETF itself, but the options here are quite tradable. And then just down the list, government, GOVT. This one's just a blend. It has a little bit of exposure across the board. IEI, 3 to 7, just kind of different yield year expirations. And then TLH, another pretty popular one. Some are more popular than others. Some are more liquid than others. For TLH, no real tradable option market. We're talking about very low volume, almost non-existent volume. So these, I would say, stay away from the option market. But if you're looking for 10 to 20 year bond exposure, here's a product that you might be interested in. As always, do your own research into these products, and obviously they need to fit your portfolio risk profile. But once again, most of these are in relative downtrends. They're obviously selling against the bigger picture. And what we're looking at is, what is this doing to yields? How is this affecting the equities market? And how can we take advantage of this in the future if and when the market changes? So all that for tomorrow. As always, trade safe today. We'll kind of see what's on the watch list and the scanners today, but pretty quiet session. S&P gapping up, looking for that exhaustion, but so far bears not proving it, bulls in complete control, and we're just going to see how they respond today. So trade safe. We'll talk more tomorrow, and as always, stay tuned for pre-market prep with Carlos and Norm.
Thanks, Noah. I appreciate that. Here you go. You should be able to hear me now. Want to make sure. Um, okay, so I see my audio is going good. No, I don't hear yours yet. Well, Norm figures that out, guys. Good morning. Welcome to Open Market Prep. I hope everyone's having an amazing morning. Hopefully, you guys had an incredible day yesterday. There you go. Got you loud and clear, man. Good morning.
Oh, I'm good morning, man. How are you?
Doing good, man. Are you feeling any better? How's it going?
Mm, I think overall the illness, I feel a tiny bit better, but I woke up at 12:30 this morning and was unable to go back to sleep, so I'm
Oh,
delirious. I was
that is,
coughing, it kept me awake. I didn't want to wake my wife up, so I got out of bed and yikes.
yeah, that is annoying for sure. Um, Guys, let's take a look at our watch list from yesterday. We had a pretty decent list, one of the best ones we've seen in some time here. And starting with Tesla, so we'll pop into yesterday's action. Beautiful, beautiful pre-market activity. They're very active today. Again, a lot of the stuff in the green, as we've been talking about this morning with engineering the markets. Which, by the way, let's give Jared a nice thumbs up over on YouTube for all the job, for all the work he does putting that stuff together. Um, Here's Tesla, guys. Beautiful pre-market action. Did not get going immediately, but it gave you a nice, beautiful base here in the morning. You can see that off the pre-markets, you had a level there. It does come and retests that level, and then look at the breakout of this pre-market high. We're always talking about how great those levels are, the pre-market highs and pre-market lows. And you can see here, pre-market high, just a nice, nice breakout. Was also pretty close to the high of the day. Couldn't do it here. A third time coming to test that level, that's a great breakout if you miss some of the VWAP breakout towards the bottom there. So again, just some real great trading on Tesla. Looking pretty good today, up 1.7. Definitely will be on our list this morning. XBEV, guys, again, just a little bit of a sell-off. Was very toppy here above the VWAP. Could not hold. You can see the sell down coming down over and over again, and then eventually getting this beautiful drop below the low of the not the pre-market low, but the low of the day at that time. You can see that breakout there. So that's pretty nice. And then from there, it's just real choppy, not a whole lot of action. Neo was a little bit cleaner. We'll look at that in a second. Here is Oxy, guys. Again, you had a nice little drop and a pop for the most part. Didn't really watch the price action on this one. Didn't like it as much as other stuff we had on deck. Oxy, very active as well today. They are down 3.6 with 988 88,000 shares traded. So we'll be looking at that for sure. And BYND, guys, BYND had a nice, nice clean breakout. I mean, look at the pop we had here out of the gates. It did give you a beautiful pullback for a 5-minute opening range breakup opportunity right off the VWAP. And you can see how clean this move was. Beautiful continuation. Another pullback. Starts getting a little, dicey when you have a run like this, but you can see several pullbacks continue to give you a nice run. Eventually, getting a double top here and then right back down to almost the low of the day. So some good movement on BYND. Normally does not trade that well, but it was very clean yesterday. CGC here, guys, is pure chop. You did have a nice rising double here play. That was pretty good. Then slams down. You can see the beautiful continuation there. So that was nice. Then from there, look at the channel. This thing just kind of, or just the range, it just gets stuck in. Like it's not able to break out of that. Again, these lower price stocks can be a little bit difficult at times. Did not like this at all on CGC. And here's Apple, guys. Apple continues to find a way to be a great trading stock, and it did yesterday as well. Look at this beautiful pop there. A little bit of indecision here, a nice sell down, but then again, takes off again as soon as the market starts to get going. This range here between 11 and 12, the market did mess up a couple of stocks that we had that were actually trading very well that we had in play. Neo was one of them, right? Kind of messed us up here between 11 and 12. This was my trade there, but you can see the beautiful takeoff after the SPY got it together and got going. A lot of these on our watch list today are looking really, really good. Here's our gappers list. We'll go through some of these names. A lot on here that I know are not going to look great just based on the ticker, but we do have from the previous plays that we had here. Neo's looking good, Tesla's looking good, Oxy's looking good. We're gonna have a good day today, Norm. I think it's a lot to watch on deck this morning.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see. We have some economic data coming out in a little bit. We've got home price indexes coming out at 9 o'clock, 10 a.m. Consumer confidence index. That'll be a big one to see how people are thinking about everything that's going on. Also, job openings and quits at 10 a.m. as well. Fed speaker 10:45. I don't anticipate much out of that. Yeah, I mean, Qs were just like a rocket at the open yesterday. Apple was a proxy for that. I know I said I wasn't going to trade. I took a tiny trade in Apple, and it just, I mean, took off with everything else. So,
Nice.
yeah, we'll see how it goes. I probably really won't trade today, considering I'm so tired. But you know,
Yeah, the opportunities are definitely out there today, and we saw a lot of that yesterday as well.
I've read some things. I've seen a little bit of rumors that may indicate Russia's going to start easing up on some of its Ukraine attacks. I'll believe it when I see it.
Okay.
That
Okay.
could spark some bullishness. But Jared talked about we're running into some resistance here as well. So we'll see which one wins.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. All right, let's take a look here, guys. Let's start by removing our watch list here. Control A, Control X clears that up. And then we're going to bring in some of the stuff that I've been watching, that we've been watching lately, like Neo. Neo looks very good. Excuse me, guys. Neo looks very good here. So we're going to bring this in. Great volume so far already. Beautiful pre-market activity. Definitely like what I'm seeing there. We'll bring the daily here on Neo. And I was expecting this move for them to close this gap yesterday. They didn't get it, but today they're pretty much looking to close this gap down that we had a few days ago. So Neo is good. We're gonna look at what's the other one. Tesla was also pretty active this morning, and Oxy. We'll throw these on here, and then we'll look at our gappers list and see what's going on there. IGMS. Let's start there. So low flow at 14.6 million. This one is up 36%, 888,000 shares traded. Again, on a day like today, with everything we have going on, I suspect we're going to find things that are a little bit better. This one also, you don't have shares for sure. You don't get volume. Again, it's just not liking what I'm seeing there at all.
And earnings and a little bit of
yeah.
a second, and possibly a little bit of a secondary. It's weird. Something announces a secondary that they would pop, but I guess their earnings beat that for its catalyst, and it's also got a short float on that low float of 56%. So might be something to keep an eye on.
We'll definitely check what happens there on that one. IGMS might be the low flow of the day. Norm, you're saying with the short interest,
could be.
Right?
I'll keep my eye on it for now.
Okay, cool.
It doesn't have quite as much. It doesn't have quite as much volume as I would like, but
yeah. Well, we know how quick that could change, right? So we'll keep an eye on it for sure. Yeah. NLSM, guys, this one looks like a buyout, right? Yeah,
it is.
No good. We'll skip on this one. Let's head down over to Love this morning. This is now this is not to be confused with Love the Airlines, LUV.
Correct.
This is a 13 million shares flow, so it's a low flow stock. Doesn't have any volume right now, guys. Only 130,000. That's not gonna cut it for us. We can come back to if that gets any better.
They had earnings, but I'm not really big into trading beanbag chair companies.
Oh, is that what the Lovesac? Yeah, I heard of them. Yep. I know exactly who they are. Let's head on down here. ASO this morning, they are up 8%. Weak volume right now. I don't see anything great. And I think this is one that we've seen on our list before.
It's Academy Sports. They had earnings this morning. Doesn't trade great all the time, but that having been said, 8% gap this morning, needs more volume. If it can get volume, maybe it's worthwhile.
Yeah. We'll put it to the side for now.
And I won't call it high, but it does have elevated short float at 23%. So
yeah. Let's take a look at STLA this morning, guys. These guys not looking so hot right now. Looks almost foreign. I'm not sure what this it is. Okay, because you got a lot of gaps in here on the daily. So not liking what I'm seeing there. We'll move down to LHCG, and also looks like another buyout. Okay, we'll stop here. Let's see what's gapping down. Then I want to give enough room for you guys to throw some stuff at us so we can look at. Let's look at Neo, and not to be confused. I remember we had Neo and Neo on our list. That was fun. But this is Neo NEO, which is a little bit different. And this one here is down 30% this morning, 268,000 shares traded. So get taking a bit of a hit here. The volume though could be better. They're not a low flow stock, sitting at
They had,
118.
a shitty quarter. Their
Yeah.
CEO is just like, peace out, see ya, and they've had two downgrades this morning.
Wow. So CEO just left. Wow. That is not a good sign, my friends. Down 30%. I wish the pre-market would look a little bit better. It can get better at the market open. You have that type of catalyst where your CEO is walking off after a bad earnings. There's no hope. There's no hope for the next quarter at all. So that could be interesting, to say the least. There. Here's a MOS. You know what? I'm curious to see how that's going to end up today. It might not do anything, but I'm gonna add it on here because I'm curious.
Looks like rubbernecking a. You're essentially
Yeah, I'm just
doing
gonna.
the financial equivalent of rubbernecking a wreck
That's
on
exactly
the
what
other
I'm
side
gonna.
of a highway. Yeah,
And don't
that's
plan on going in that direction, but just want to take a peek to see what's going on over the divider there. MOS guys, this one here down 6.6, 219,000. Uh, very light volume for the most part. Doesn't trade very well. It looks like Mosaic Company, whatever that
yeah.
is.
Well, they fertilizer stuff, phosphates, potash. Um, Yeah, it's had a big run up because of what's gone on
Yeah.
recently. You'll see that since the middle to end of February when Russia invaded Ukraine, it almost got a double in there from low 40s to low 70s. So not
Hmm.
quite a double, but close. It's just given a little pullback this morning. So I don't think it trades well. It's not really worth keeping an eye on.
Yeah, kind of going with the theme you mentioned about, Russia easing up on what's going on there. Some of the things that did well when that happened, you're going to see some of that come back to reality a little bit, or at least ease off,
Yeah.
and then the stuff that was doing bad to start picking up, like almost the
Jared,
rest of the market. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, as Jared's mentioned here, he says, I think we're going to, for the people not in the room, I think we're going to see a lot of commodity trades and energy down today. I agree with you. I mean, that's kind of
Hmm.
the we've got meme stocks down a little bit, and we've got commodities and energy down too. So
Yep. As you can see, Oxy here, guys, taking a bit of a hit down 2.6 now, with volume. So that's going to be a good one for today. So much stuff we can watch today, guys. We don't have to be very picky this morning. Let's look at BTU. We've seen this one before. It doesn't trade very well, so I'm not going to waste any time on it. Let's get to AMC. So AMC down 4.2 this morning. We do have shares for sure. Look at the run and squeeze it had yesterday
it's
from 20
ridiculous.
over to 30. I mean, just insane. Just wild. So definitely in play. I don't know for me personally, based on my risk management, how tradable this is going to be, but it's definitely in play today. 2.6 million down 4.3. We'll see where it goes. How about GameStop? What is GameStop up to this morning? There also should be interesting to watch. They're down 3.6. So both of these down, as you mentioned earlier, Norm. We'll put them on here. They are in play. I just don't know if you can find opportunities based on the way you trade on these. Here's X, last one, and then we'll head over to the Norm and the room. Again, a little bit down this morning, 4.2, given they also picked up in February. You can see here they were actually selling off into the February happened, and you can see how they have been trading since then. Coming back down a little bit, could be okay. Could be okay. We'll have to see X on that one. Norm, anything you like on your end this morning?
I'm still looking, brother. As I said, probably won't trade because I'm on almost no sleep. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
Yep, absolutely, man. Completely get that. Let's take a look on our chat now. We're gonna go over to hold on, let me stop this from scrolling down automatically. There we go. And let's go over with Isaac or Isaac. CCL. We'll start there. CCL this morning. We got anything going on? Yeah, they're popping up a little bit. For the type of news, there's other companies are doing a little bit better. But they are popping up. This is great news for them, obviously. So yeah, we can definitely put CCL. I'm gonna put them as a possible, and the reason is because I think some of the tech companies might just be a little bit better, and EVs we'll see. CCL, American Airlines, we'll keep them on here. I'm gonna come back to those in a second. Alfredo, you're
And
giving us. Mhm,
those are going to be. I don't know if they'll be seriously in play the
mhm.
travel stuff, but the oil coming down helps those considerably.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, all you can see here taking a hit down 3%, and American Airlines and CCL up 3%. I just wish the volume on CCL would be a little
Yeah.
bit higher, but we'll see. I think that can change. I just want to keep them here as top possible, guys. That can definitely change, and we'll move them up depending how that market open is going to be with overall oil sector and energy. Nvidia and MU this morning. Nvidia right now looking good, up 2.6, a million shares traded on Nvidia. Anything else going on with these guys besides just overall market being strong with the Qs? I mean, they're looking really good today.
Yes, hang on. I got to check my notes because I saw
Yeah.
this, but I can't remember what it was. They got an upgrade for one out of a shop I've not heard of or I'm not really familiar with.
Hmm.
The $410 price target. Let's see if we can find anything else. That's about what I got. But I mean,
Yeah.
a lot of these have been beaten down a lot, so they
Correct.
can pop on this. Yeah.
Definitely like Nvidia this morning. We'll take a look at Apple as well. And again, not bad. And what I told you guys about Apple ending the day green yesterday. Um, no red days on this chart for Apple. Oh man, just incredible. We'll put Apple on here as well. It's another one to look at when the market is trading the way it is. Already has a million shares traded on here. I think we'll have some fun with that. Let's head on down. We have AMC. Dan is saying AMC to the moon. I don't know about that. I don't know about that today. They're down. We'll have to see where that goes. TLRY. What is our pot sector doing? They didn't do well yesterday. They had two really good days. This was Thursday, I believe, right? We had Thursday and Friday really good. Yesterday, not so hot. I don't know. I just don't know how good this catalyst is going to be. They've been rejected before, as Norm mentioned. When it got to the federal, I think it was right. They got rejected by
No,
the
I think it was 2020, and the bill got
yeah,
passed in the House but
right.
failed in the Senate. So
Hmm. So I don't know how this is going to be. We might just get they've been beat up so much that any positive news on these things is creating some fuzz and some movement. I just don't know how great they're going to be for a continuation play in the coming days, and this is going to take time for that to develop and see if it's even going to be something. So I'm not going to spend my time on TRY this morning. I could be wrong, but there's just so many other ones that I probably would not regret not keeping that one. BBBY, anything going on with our crazy fella over there? Is he writing any more letters or what are we doing here? At the moment, we're pretty much flat. Down
well,
three.
I mean,
Yeah.
he's involved here. The guys that follow him and the meme, he's involved in a lot of the meme stock stuff with
Mm-hmm.
GME and AMC and all that. They had a big pop yesterday as well. They've
Yeah.
got a huge short float, 66%. So all those things together, it should be active today for sure.
Yeah. We'll throw it on here next to our other meme stock guys. I'm gonna put a line right in here, and we'll put it next to AMC, GameStop, and we'll add here BBBY as well. Okay, heading down up AMD. Let's take a look there. I already have plenty of tech companies. I probably would not add AMD, but AMD also looking very good. But I got Nvidia, I have Apple on my list. These are going to be the ones for me. Baba this morning. Probably could stop trading Baba and Neo. I've been trading these two stocks for like ever. Baba this morning up 2.4. Interesting daily though. I mean, another one too that has managed to end the day green on every gap down. It's just look at this. This daily is very weird. Very, very strange. Look at the movement you're getting here. So I don't know. Bob has been very good to me. Maybe we'll give it a shot here. Neo we have on deck already. That's good. PLTR could be a hit or miss. I don't see the great volume. Beautiful daily here for a possible continuation of this breakout, but I'm not seeing a great volume pre-market. American Airlines we have. Yeah, guys, so many today. Lulu, Lulu for me is not a great trader, so I don't keep it on deck even when they have earnings or something. That's just for me. I don't like their price action at all. I know Brian, Andrew can trade them very well.
Been a
I'm
long
not a big
time since
fan.
I've seen Brian trade Lulu day trade it though.
Yeah, it's been a while. You're right. It's been a while, and I just don't know if they really are
When the
trading
lockdown
good.
started, this thing was on fire. But
Right. Right. Yeah. I just even then for me it was difficult to trade that one. Nvidia we have guys. That's good there. SQ. Let's take a look at SQ from Brian here. Um, uh, maybe is Bitcoin doing anything? Riot, Mara.
Yes. Bitcoin hit 48 earlier.
Okay,
It's above
okay.
48 now. It had backed off when I looked at it previously,
Yeah.
but it is positive for the year for 2022
Oh,
after
nice, nice.
some seriously turbulent times.
It really has been pretty rough for them. That is for sure, guys. We have to stop here. We have so many we can look at today. I think we have a very decent list already. We got quite a few possibles that we can get into as well, and you can watch a little bit of everything this morning. Setting up to be a really good, exciting morning. So let's see if the market open is going to continue with that. Let's get over to our community events and announcements. We'll come back and fine tune this list in just a few minutes.
All right. Artie's webinar from last night on utilizing TWS for options trading should be posted later today. And then Dash Trader Pro Q&A next week, 8 p.m. Eastern with Kyle. Tonight, 8 p.m., you've got Peter talking about determining the right share size for you. And next week is Jared on trading reversals, 8 p.m. Eastern as well. Tomorrow night, Mike will be talking about probabilities, part 3, how to trade in strategy sets. And then next week, we've got Dr. Kenneth Reed talking about discipline versus adaptability. Mentorship this week will be with John at 11, and then Ed at 4 and Thor at 8 this Thursday. Don't forget about stocktradingsimulator.com. You can go use our free web-based replay simulator, just stocktradingsimulator.com. It is we're adding features and all kinds of stuff constantly. So team's still working on it to perfect it, but it's getting better and better by the week. If you Abby, somebody's asking what room does Andrew, all those mentorships are in the webinar room. All right. If you're watching on YouTube and you have not been in the chat, you can go to bearbulltraders.com, scroll down, you'll see test drive, that test drive button. Click on that. Use the promo code premarket24. It'll get you a discount for the 1 week trial. It bills one time. It is not a recurring payment. You can come try out the room and go to the onboarding session, which is every Monday night at 8 p.m., 7 p.m. Eastern.
7 p.m.
Excuse me.
Yep.
Man, I rewound a few months.
After doing it 8 a.m. for so many years, man, that is A-okay. All right, guys, let's get to it. My list right now, my main list, we're looking at NEO. NEO looking very, very nice this morning, up 2.5. You know what? Let's rewind a little bit here. We cannot forget our friends at YouTube. I forgot to ask you guys what you guys are looking at this morning. So let's go back here. Let's look at some of these. Let's look at Michael. You're giving us UPST and Mara. We'll take a few of these because we do appreciate you guys being with us this morning. UPST up 3.8. You know what? This is a very difficult stock for me to trade. I don't trade it very well. The volume's a little bit on the lighter side. I've seen people do very good on this, but I'm not a trader that looks at this one. So I'm gonna skip on for that reason. Mara, I believe, did we add Mara? I know we added SQ, possible Bitcoin play. We can add Mara. I do like Mara when Bitcoin is active. I mean, it's coming back down now, so it's pretty much flat at the moment. We needed to break one way or the other here, so it could become fun for us. But right now, pretty much flat. They had a nice little run of this 21 level, guys, in the last couple of days here. So that has been pretty fun for them. As you know, Bitcoin now in the green for the year, so pretty nice there. Sadik, you're giving us HYMC. I saw this earlier. It was last week or this week. Might have been last week, but yeah, this week as well. Yeah, this is I don't remember if it's a low floor or not, or is it a meme stock? I think it is. Hold on a second. Let me search it here. Oh no, this is the mining, right? This is mining as well. I think it's a recent mining ticker that came out. So yeah, it's pretty active. I mean, these lower price stock guys under $5. I'm not inclined to trade these or put them on my list. I like things a little bit higher. You know, definitely above 5, above 10, even better. So I won't be watching this one. There's some other ones that you can look at. I got Mara and SQ right now, but again, we're coming down on Bitcoin at the moment, so it's a little bit quiet for me right now. Here's Ford. Ford, why is this coming up? Ford is not. I don't see anything happening here. This thing is up 1.7, 1.2 million shares traded, so that's why. But yeah, I don't know, guys. This is, I think the fun is, we had fun with this already. Actually surprised us quite a bit with what it has done. But I won't be adding this to my list. So all right, we'll take a look. Baba, Microsoft. I got plenty of tech stocks already. Microsoft, let's take a look here. Microsoft's daily, pretty similar to what's going on with Apple and Nvidia. So I'm not going to add another one or replace it with those two, because I like the way those two trade. I prefer them over many of the other tickers. MU, I believe we looked at. Also moving with Nvidia, guys. I mean, this one
All the
doing,
chip stuff is
yeah,
pumping. Yeah.
all the chip stuff is up, guys. I really like Nvidia today. Look how clean and how much volume you have on Nvidia. I mean, this just looks beautiful there. And of course, Apple. Apple's looking very nice as well. So I think we're set there. As I just, how far are we gonna go with this green back-to-back greens on Apple? Just buy at the open and just let it run. It's been the situation there.
It's
Just
right up
insane.
there to some resistance right now.
Yeah,
It wouldn't
yeah,
it
yeah.
wouldn't shock me if today's the day, but everything is so strong, so maybe that'll help it not be the day.
You're absolutely right. This would have been a good place to see a bounce back, but they're getting the help from the market, so that can get going. All right, guys. AMD we looked at. Four we looked at. Snow, is this a ticker? Yeah, it is, but this snowflake ticker's not looking any good. We're gonna skip on that one. No volume there, nothing happening. Lucid. Let's take a look at Lucid. We'll cut it there. Lucid this morning, no, no, it's pretty quiet. Neo and other tickers are looking much, much better. I'm surprised how quiet they are. Hold on a second. Make sure I get the right ticker. Yeah, they're only 327,000. There's better stuff out there right now. That could change, but I prefer Neo this morning for those type of plays. All right. On YouTube, if your screen is not clear, what happens is YouTube downgrades your settings just to save on bandwidth. So what you go is go over to settings right next to some of the bottom right.
Yeah, if you hover over the video, you'll see the
Yep.
gear icon. Click that and change your resolution.
Yeah, make sure you put it over to 1080, 60, or even 720, 60 looks pretty good. But if YouTube sees your connection is not strong, they will put you down to like 320, 400, and that can look pretty crappy on a computer.
Yeah.
All right, let's get to
That
our
that HYMC, they are
yeah.
right. There's some meme stuff going on
Is
there
that
with yeah, well, it's a gold company, and usually we don't trade these gold miners, but this one has some meme attributes to it. And the CEO of AMC took a bought a big amount of this, so
okay? Yeah.
that's what's doing it. I agree.
All
It's
right.
not my favorite, but
Yeah. I mean, I remember I couldn't put the finger
mostly
on
for
it.
mostly for the price. I
Gotcha.
just don't
Yeah.
like trading
Same here.
$3 stocks.
Same here. I'm not a fan. I can't remember when was the last time I traded a stock under $5. And even if I trade a stock under $5 at $5, it probably was a stock that dropped down from like 20 something that was trying to make its way back, probably with the pandemic. But it's just not a big fan of that. All right, guys, let's get to levels here. Let's start with Neo. So we're going back up. We have Neo on deck here. And there we go. Here's Neo. High of the pre-market at the moment. We're looking at 21.83, getting a little bit of a bounce back right now on that one. And then we also have here 22.59 towards the top. So I think that's all you need for the most part. Two really good levels here, guys. Even that pre-market high, you're seeing that pre-market high there does have a couple of days opening and closing right around that area right over here. So that's pretty decent level to have on the list. Heading back down towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last two trading days. I don't think you need to add anything there. You're pretty set on a Neo. Here's Tesla, guys. Tesla as well, just like Apple, just putting in an insane run over the last couple of days. And you can see that here. but just every day in the green. Even the ones that are gapped down a little bit found a way to get into the green territory. This morning up 1.5. Again, the market is helping a lot of these stocks to get going. And this one has this rumors of a split. I'm not sure when that is scheduled for yet, or if it has been scheduled, but that is obviously we've
It's
seen what
not. They
stocks
have
do.
shareholders have to
Yeah.
vote on it.
Oh, it's still all right. So it's just talking about it. Okay. But we've seen how when those talks happen, how these stocks tend to react, especially these good ones. And you can see Tesla doing very well. But overall, market is helping them quite a bit here, guys. We got levels all over the place, towards the bottom, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days, and towards the top as well. On Tesla, you're pretty set there. Here's Oxy. So Oxy heading the other direction. Um, from the two we just saw there that are doing very well. Oxy's down 3%. As we mentioned, the stocks that have been doing well with the crisis over there in Ukraine are now starting to come back a little bit if things are going to be easing down, right? Kind of like with the pandemic. When the pandemic hit, some stocks did very well, and now we're kind of switching over here, flipping the switch just a little bit, at least for now or today. Down 3.2, 1.2 million shares traded. A couple of levels here. Low of the pre-market, 54.62. That is nice there. And then 52.37, also creating a nice support there as well on the daily, just in case we get a nice little flush, depending how the market is going to be reacting to today's open. We do have another great level at 48.63. Towards the top, we've been hanging out here for quite a bit and doing some back and forth action. So that's going to create some good levels with the highs and lows of the last 2 trading days, or you are pretty much set when it comes to that. Here's NVIDIA, guys. NVIDIA just a beautiful daily. This is looking real nice here. We had a little struggle with NVIDIA. It was trading very well, and then it kind of went in this, just kind of choppiness for a while. But now, the last couple of days, we've been at it doing real nice here. Beautiful breakout today above 280. And look at this pre-market action also looking very nice this morning. Very clean, some good continuations, which is what we need as day traders. We need that continuation, and clean price action helps us get into better trades that can run nice and clean for us. Here we have high of the pre-market 291.43. Above that, a couple of levels on the daily here. This is when Nvidia was just going insane here when they had this run from what's this, October? Maybe further out. Yeah, it was further out, right? Yeah, look at this. Look at Nvidia just all last year. Just madness from May, just insane. And then November, October, November, it's just went haywire with these crazy pops here. Some of those pops hitting 304 48. That's a good one there. And another one here. This is a good level as well, 312 84. So getting a nice movement here, not far from some of the levels we had recently, close to our all-time highs there on Nvidia. Here is Apple. Apple this morning doing very well. I'm going to remove some of the levels we have from the previous days, just so we can clean this up a little bit. But right now, high of the pre-market, we're slamming against 176.95. And then if we move over to the left over here, 176.95, that's the level that's the resistance Norm was talking about earlier. You can see here how many times we have slammed up against that. We'll see if today we're going to get a red day in the books for Apple. It is not looking like so at the moment. 179.43 looking pretty decent here. A couple of days opening and closing right around that area, so you got a good level there. And then you also have here 182. Is 182 the all-time highs? I believe
Yes.
it is. Man, we are a short field away from that. Not bad, not bad. Dan, my friend, thank you so much for the $5 donation there. XPLX, swing profits for a good cause. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate for that $5 bomb. Thank you so much for your support. Towards the bottom on Apple, guys, tons of levels, highs and lows from the last 2 trading days there. All right, that is what we have. Secondary list, guys, we got plenty. We can actually move 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We probably could move one up. We have CCL, which I think could be good today. We'll have to see. American Airlines. We have the meme stocks. I have them here for entertainment purposes. I probably won't be touching them. BBBY, same thing. We have the Neo here, which I love this drop here, 30%. And I want to see what happens, but it's just not worth the space with everything else we have. Here's X this morning, down 3.8. We'll see. Baba, it's decent. A lot of opportunities here. SQ is okay, and Mara. you know what? I'm just gonna get rid of Maverick. It's back down to the previous day close. I don't like that. It would have been nice if we would have kept trending here, at least towards the north side. I don't like this one for a short at all. And I haven't liked it in a while, as you guys know. All right, just fine tune this here. So we have CCL. Maybe we'll move CCL or American Airlines. I think I'm gonna watch American Airlines instead. On my main list. We'll do that. American Airlines on the main list. We have CCL, GameStop, AMC, BBBY, X, and Baba and SQ. All right, it's a lot to watch today, guys. I mean, your list could look completely different and still have an incredible blockbuster list. Um, okay, cool. We have some time here, guys. Let's get into something. What kind of questions do you guys have?
First, I want to say something before we get into
Yeah.
Q&A. We have a member here that reached out to me, asked to remain anonymous, but asked if we could use our reach to because we do the charity stuff. The super chat reminded me of this. So from time to time, I'm just going to remind people to look into organ donation. Her husband has benefited from it, and I believe is in need of a second donor, and that's the reason she wants to remain anonymous, is because she doesn't want anybody to think she's trying to do it for her own personal benefit, just overall. And I believe there's actually another member, a member of the chat that also is in need of a transplant too. So just look into that if you get a chance. I'll try to come up with some resources that we can put in here as well. So,
All right, amazing, man, amazing. Yeah, so we'll really look forward to looking into that, Norm. Thank you for that. Um, uh, guys, let's get into it. Let's see what you guys have this morning. What you guys are looking at that maybe we haven't covered yet. What was that?
Jason W. He wants to know your thoughts on the
man,
iPhone Lightning port.
He knows what chord to strike to get me going. Where's the phone? I threw it over there. I don't even know. I, I tell you, man, Apple. So I got this. We got a little time. I got this new Mac, and the new Mac now is they put back the ports. They actually put the HDMI now. They got rid of these Thunderbolt crap, and I'm actually gonna end up selling the other one. But it's like they got the smartest people in the world, and they could do the dumbest things. It's just mind boggling. You know, it is what it is. All right, let's get to it. What else we have on level 2? How do you highlight the larger lots? There's a way to do that. There's a way to do that. We'll have to get that for you. One of the moderators in the support tab can get that information. There's a way to do that to highlight the higher numbers orders. You could do that as well. So many things you could do with Dash Trader Pro. Is so flexible. It's incredible how much customization you can do with this platform. Where do I find the list of Brian's everyday stocks? Brian has an everyday stock. Or are you talking about the swing trading? Which are you talking about?
Swing trading? He sends out emails.
Yeah. You can sign up for his and for those also over on YouTube, guys. Brian does swing trading alerts, and again, I always tell people don't just follow him. Kind of understand what's going on. So head over and get the book, How to Swing Trade. I'm going to show you guys here how you can sign up for those alerts. And what I love about these emails, guys, they're very, very clean, straightforward. Let's go here. Wait, where is it? I'll fix this now in a second, but let me see. I think it's under education. And if you go under education and you swing down to the bottom.
If you go to bearbulltraders.com/swing newsletter, you can sign up for Ed's and Brian's at the same time.
Oh, nice. Yes,
I just put the link in the chat.
Oh, yeah, let me bring that up.
And on YouTube chat.
Excellent. Yeah, so do that, guys. Completely free. We don't sign you up for anything else. We don't sell your email address. Completely free, and you can get swing trading alerts. But also get the book. Brian has a book, How to Swing Trade. Really, really amazing stuff. So sign up here, and you can get alerts on what they're doing on their end. So hopefully that's what you were talking about as far as Brian's list. Norm, Carlos, AMC wedge breakout. Let's see.
AMC. I think AMC will be good today.
Oh, look, that looks nice.
And
that looks
already good.
Yeah, that's a beautiful breakout there. Man, yeah, that is becoming more exciting now. How about GameStop also doing the same thing here? BBBY. Man, even the meme stocks today are running, guys. It's going to be a great, great day. Um, all right, what else? What else we have? What else is on deck this morning? Let's check over on YouTube. AMC is heating up. Yep, I see that PFE has over 1.4 million shares traded. PFE. Yeah, but that's probably a block trade because if you look at
That's
this, it's not doing anything. So probably a block trade somewhere that was recorded. This is not in play as of now. ASO, Jamie, I looked at ASO and it's a stock that we've seen before. I'm not a fan of the way it trades.
and
So I'll be
unfortunately,
cautious with that. Yeah.
I have their jingle stuck in my head now too.
Oh man, don't get me started. Don't even start singing it. Here's Chris with the $5 bomb. Thank you so much,
Thank you,
man.
Chris.
Appreciate you doing that $5 donation there. Thank you for that. Um, okay, let's see what we got. All right, so not a lot of questions this morning. Looks like you guys are all set.
They're too busy trading AMC.
Is that what it is? You guys are trading AMC without us here. You know, F U to you. Let's see what is happening there. Yeah, nothing going on in F to you. Actually up 3.5. Short squeeze season is here. Yeah, tell me about it. Tell me about it. This is if you guys remember back in when this all started, it was more of a shocker then in that February. If you guys remember how crazy it was, but yeah, squeeze season is here. We had a little bit in May as well. Look at the run we had in May from $12 to 70 on AMC. So anything is possible with this. Guys, we cannot stress enough how important risk management needs to be on these type of stocks. And if you're a newer trader, just avoid them for now. These are treat them like a low flow. Just avoid them for the most part at the moment. There will be stocks like this in the future. Probably the same ones, right? That they've been doing this for a while now. So probably they're going to be meme stocks has become a thing of the markets now. So we can always take advantage of it when it's available. But just avoid them. Work on that discipline first. Get the experience. They're great to see them going, but they can go against you so fast, and you can really hurt your account if you don't have the experience yet. So cannot stress that enough there. All right, let's take a look, guys. 9/11. Let's take a look here at our moderators lineup and see what we got going on so far. Looking forward to what they have here. A lot of these, this watch list. As I'm doing this here and resizing this, make sure you hit that thumbs up over on YouTube. We're sitting at a 181. We'd love to be at a 250 and better is our number there. So the moderators watch list. I see a lot of these were done around 9 o'clock, 8:50 or so. This is probably going to change for these moderators because some of the stocks are looking much better now than they were earlier. Some of them are looking worse. I think the moderators might be making a little bit of some shifting on their end as we get closer to 9:30. It looks like I will be doing as well. Here's Mike. He's looking at Nvidia, Apple, and Microsoft. Nice tech play there. Dima's looking at Baba, AMD, and Apple. Thor's looking at AMD, PFE, Apple, and Oxy. His secondary list, Lucid, and the overall market. Susie will be looking at Tesla, Oxy, Nvidia, and Apple. Secondary list, AMD and Neo. No SPACs or IPOs for today, reporting by Peter. But his list, AMD, Apple, American Airlines, and the secondary list, Oxy, Neo, and AMC. Tiffany's looking at Tesla and Nvidia, Neo and AMC, and then Megan's looking at AMAT, Twitter, and Baba this morning. So a lot to watch today, guys. You could definitely be very picky as we see AMC here going into the green, now up
See what it
2%.
does at 30.
Yeah, yeah, we'll see what it does here. I mean, this thing is running nicely right now, guys. Looking really, really good. All right, 2 minutes left, guys. We'll start. Thank you now over on YouTube so much for joining us this morning. We know you guys have options, but we appreciate you guys being here with us every morning. If it's your first time here, consider subscribing. We are live every Monday through Thursday at 8 a.m. and then Fridays at 8:30 with Engineering the Markets and then Norm and I. So thank you so much for joining us. Hit that thumbs up. We appreciate your support, and we will see you later. Well, tomorrow. We'll see you tomorrow. Tonight is Tuesday, so we have the webinar. What do we have tonight for the webinar?
Tonight's Peter, share sizing.
Oh, yes, this is a real go. I think it's part 4 of his webinars there. So share sizing tonight. Do not miss it. Very, very good webinars, especially for those who are newer traders trying to figure out how they should size their position. Definitely look out for that. And if you are on YouTube and you want to join us, if you become a member, you can get access to that and to everything else we have recorded in the past. So take advantage. Guys, we'll see you soon. Trade safe and have a good one.
Take care, guys. Trade safe.